Call the meeting to order at 7:01. Pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Present. Present. Great. Adoption or amendment of agenda. I move to amend the agenda to add item 7, board appointment process. That would be right in front of the interviews for board vacancies. Motion and support. Support by Mr. Farray. Any discussion? Yeah. So discussion-wise, we've got the MASB recommended guidelines. So we'll talk about that at that point prior to the interview process. I have motion and support. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried.
Were we going to amend the subject brought up the last meeting and it's supposed to be put on the agenda that it's not there?
The motion to amend.
Make a motion to amend the agenda to include, I guess it would be under new business. We'd make it number F under new business. It's the Memphis Elementary Parent Club bylaws, closed meeting issue.
Support. Motion is by Mr. Cook, supported by myself. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Great. Consent agenda, we only have one item under there. Anyone on the board requests to have that item removed for discussion?
All right, under the consent agenda, you are approving the minutes from the regular meeting on April 15th, 2019, and the closed session on April 15th, 2019 is presented.
Report.
We have a motion by Mr. Cook, supported by Mrs. Borka. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Audience participation, do you have any? Okay. Correspondence. We've got some letters that were submitted to the board. Letter from Stephanie Lawrence. Letter from Terry and Rich McClung. Letter from Beth Brickle. A letter from Justin and Christy Binzer. And then the article in The Voice on the school officials explain summer tax listing. Move on to the item interview process. I'd like to have some discussion on this amongst the board. since we don't have a process in our bylaws, we need to agree on how we're going to proceed with the interview process. So we have the MASB guidelines here, so I'd like to have some discussion on that topic. Anybody has any comments on proceeding?
I think that the recommended steps on page 7 were pretty straightforward.
In front of them.
Brad is on my stuff.
I can resend it, but
So I'll outline the steps while you guys are pulling that up. These are the recommended. These are the recommended steps to fill the vacancy by MASB. So the first step is the announce via the media, which we did on the website. And then item 2 is the total board interview each candidate. And then I'd like to kind of edit this a little bit since we only had 2 candidates apply. I think we can publicly announce our recommendation individually. We all have to do that publicly. And then based on that, I can recommend the appointment for the candidate based on the votes there. And when we make a motion for the appointment, the vote is taken. The key thing to remember there is that it says in the recommended steps that the whole board interviews the candidates. And we don't have a candidate here tonight for the interview. And when this candidate previously interviewed, we didn't have the whole board present. Historical here.
Just once.
You were here for that? Was everybody here for that?
I think we were all here, but we're in different capacities.
Yeah, but you weren't a participant, so. Yeah.
Should.
So we have these guidelines that we can choose to follow if we wish. We need to understand how we want to proceed with the process, since we are missing one of the candidates here tonight. You could just put some options. If we decide that the whole board should be seated for the interview process, then we could interview the one candidate tonight and proceed and interview the other candidate at another time when they're available.
To tell you the truth, she expressed interest early on. I could rate her interview against somebody else's at this point, puts the timeline, but I hate to keep her out if her being out of town. I mean, she's expressed interest before, again, I
agree.
How long is she on the board?
This week. I've got the 5 questions. Last time we decided we were going to ask the same questions of every interview. I have those 5 questions that we asked her, so we could choose to ask the other candidate the same 5 questions. But it's been some time.
I think we can do it.
Yeah.
You might
Allow
go.
you to, I
Right.
don't know.
Are those 5 questions from the second or the big?
Yeah, they were from the start.
Minus the hand one.
Yeah. So regarding those questions, some more discussion around that. I think if we are to establish a procedure, we could ask each board member to select one of these 28 questions, and they would ask both candidates that same question within this 26. So, based on that, I'd like to discuss, would we want to interview one candidate tonight and the other one at another night, or would we want to interview them both on the same night? Any thoughts on
I
that?
don't think we should intervene with the candidate up there.
Okay.
But I think that person's option. If they want to come back and do it at the same time, you'll end up later, somebody will say, they did the questions in advance, therefore the unfair. So if the person here tonight wants to come back, I think it's fair. If they want to do it tonight as we roll, then I'd be happy.
Either one's fine.
Kind of,
Yeah. All right, so to kind of outline this on the fly here, regarding our procedure, the whole board is going to conduct the interviews. We're going to each select one question from the list of 26 presented by MASB. We're going to ask the same question to each candidate.
Jim, I'm sorry. So, just to be clear, it says sample questions to ask candidates provided or some sample questions to start with, but it's always recommended to customize your questions to meet the specific and unique qualities and issues of your board, school, and community. So,
Okay. Well,
I think as long as we're consistent with it.
right. The main point to take away is that you ask the same question of both candidates.
Fair enough.
And then since both candidates aren't here tonight, obviously we can't, make our recommendation for the candidate. So we would have to address that when we get to that point. Okay.
And we have to make this decision before.
So the deadline is, we have 30 days to make the decision, and
30 days from the announcement.
from the resignation. So the resignation was on April 15th. So we have 30 days from April 15th, which would be May 15th, roughly.
And I wouldn't listen to anybody else. They will really be honest.
No, all we have is the letter or the email saying that she was available this week out of town.
Can we do it at the next board meeting, or do we have another special?
I think that would be too long. So we would have to do something,
If the board can come up with some dates, they can get it over and find out when should be available.
when you're doing two. I mean, Jerry may want to do it tonight, but.
so. I think we can define the date to that on the agenda. Did you get the procedure that was
The one thing that started to talk about on too is the rating issue. Are we going to do that, or are we just going to ask questions and then make our individual recommendation?
I think since there's only two candidates, I think we can make our recommendation. Now, if we choose to define our own policy in the future, determine if that's how so I guess we would need a motion to adopt that temporary procedure for this point.
Make a motion to adopt steps 1 through 7 for the appointment with the selection of 2 questions per board member to be selected and asked to approve both candidates.
one question asked.
Oh, that's right. One question.
Support with the one question.
All right, any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. All right, we are at the interviews for the board vacancy. Ms. Dobson is not present, so we're bringing Ms. Nicole up.
Yes, I'm ready to interview today.
Gary, if you get in, we're going to be trying to select our questions from the new policy we just created.
Yeah, so, yeah, let's take I move to take a 5-minute recess to review the board vacancy.
Support.
Discussion?
I think we need to just, well, could we do that?
We can do an open session.
Yeah, we said an open session, just so we don't choose the same question.
Okay. All right, we'll keep it an open session, so let's just take 5 minutes to, yeah, we won't make that motion. We'll just stay in session and just pause here to review the questions.
I'll take question one if nobody's there. Yeah, no, I don't have to convert, it's just a question.
So Brad, you got 22?
No, I'm not sure. I told her I sent it.
Oh.
It's just too
I'm not going to be there.
Got cupcake number 1. Larry taking 4. I'm taking 17.
No, 29's in the garage.
All right. Sure, I'll write it down. All right, ready? Go. So we're at the interview portion of the agenda, and just to remind the candidate to be eligible, must be a qualified school elector. This means that the applicant must be a registered voter in the school district, at least 18 years of age, a citizen of the U.S., resident of the state of Michigan for at least 30 days, and resident of the school district. So with that, I think we'll forward with the questions, starting in order.
Oh,
So,
the number.
yeah, of the number.
Good evening.
Hi.
I guess we get to start. We've had 2 openings this year on the Board of Education. Why are you interested in the current opening?
I believe that I am, first of all, I'm a parent in the district. My kids are really important to me. So is the school and the community that they are involved in. So I feel like becoming part of this team, I would be more involved in that. I am also a school teacher, so I am passionate about public education as well.
Okay, thank you.
All right. How do you feel the school district can improve the academic achievement of students and the professional development of the staff?
Well, I think you have to look at data from various assessments, whether they're local or state data, and look for strengths and weaknesses. And where there's weaknesses, you can look to see how we can improve that. And then from there, make some decisions on what kind of professional development should be offered for the teacher.
Thank you.
All right, so what would you like to see changed in the district? How do you envision your role in that change?
Change in the district, I kind of feel like there needs to be some accountability with who is in charge of what and who's in charge of that person to make sure that things are getting taken care of, things that need to be addressed are addressed, and then also people are making sure that that is happening from higher up.
Thank you.
All right, so as a board member, you will be asked to make decisions where you must put aside what's best for you, your family, your friends, and your school to do what's best for the students of the district. What does this mean to you?
It means I need to be thinking of the students, and if and be open-minded. I will take into consideration all the, 'Cause 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 the, 'c rationally make a decision with what's best for the students. My two children are students, so they're going to be factored into that as well.
Carrie, working effectively with other school members and the superintendent requires skills in communication and decision making. How do you see yourself working with others, members of the leadership team? And what is your vision for education in this community?
Well, I feel like I do some of those things already. I am on this district's school improvement team. I have been for the past, I think this is my third year on the team. I am also part of my own school district's school improvement team. I'm a co-chair at my building, and I have been that co-chair for probably the past 10 years. I'm on various committees in my own school district. I'm on the athletic boosters here. I'm involved in many aspects. And what was the second part of that question?
The second part is, what is your vision for education in this community?
I just think that we all need to be working towards the success of our students academically, athletically, socially.
Thank you.
How do you view the relationship between the Board of Education and the administration and staff?
How do I do that? I feel like, I mean, I've been to a few board meetings. I feel like, you know, when we're here, there's good discussion. I feel like, you know, communication is open between everybody. Not real, I guess. That's all I know.
And what are you looking for? What would you be looking for? You know what I mean? Like, if you see any, you know, issues, are you looking to, like, you know, how would you look even
I would
to improve
encourage
it,
people
you
to,
know?
I would encourage people to come to me if they feel comfortable enough that an issue needs to be brought up, that and trust that I would bring it to the board or bring it to administration to see if something can be figured out.
Okay, that is all of our questions. I just want to really thank you for, you know, submitting your letter to the board, asking for consideration. It's a very challenging position to sit here, so I appreciate you reaching out. Do you else have any other comments?
I appreciate you actually giving us your time, because with everything that you do, I don't know how you have the time. You know?
It's going to be another color on my Google Calendar, if it has to be.
Do you have any questions for us?
Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Thanks, Gary. Thanks. All right. Next is the appointment of office, acceptance of oath of office. I'll move to postpone the appointment of office for the open board seat until a later time. Great discussion. Shall we discuss the next time that we're available?
You can send her a couple of days.
Yeah, we'll send her a couple of days.
If they're like you right now. If we stick with Monday, it's either 6 or 13. Okay, 6 would be great. Next Monday.
We do have a tentative policy committee meeting on the 6th, but we can adjust for that. Especially if that it's just going to be your meeting. We can do it after that. That works for everybody.
My concern with the 6th is that I don't know exactly when she's coming back and it may be coming. Well, I guess.
I'll use that as one.
The 6th is one.
This is 1 day.
Yeah, you know, I would look at the 7th or 8th of Bauhaus, that one for people.
8 is going to be 8. 6, 7, and 1
Yeah, there's a home game here. I'll go there.
Well, let's,
How about the 9th?
we could do the 13th as well.
I guess Monday the 6th is better, or the 6th is a good, and then the 7th. I can work with the 6th and the 7th. I can work with the 7th and the games here.
Then it's again 4, 2.
4, but it'll go, could go till 8:30. Tell you what, I'll vote for anything for this meeting as long as we just do that. Like we limit it to that.
Yeah, we'll
One
limit it.
interview and our discussion and our selection. Shouldn't take more than.
We can even do it later, even like 7:30 or something. Brad, can you take the action then to reach out to Mrs. Boxing on those 2 dates?
6th and 7th, and do you want me to go at 7 or later?
We'll go 7:30.
7:30 for both?
Yeah.
Those will work well.
All right. So I will amend my motion to postpone the appointment of office and specify, I move to change the appointment of office to a meeting on either the 6th or 7th of May at 7:30 PM. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, we're on to old business. We have up first is Neola policy 144.1 compensation, first reading.
I'll make a motion to approve the first reading of the oral policy number 0144.1, compensation as presented.
We have motion by Mrs. Florka, supported by Mr. Cook. Any discussion?
This one's just postponed because it had a dollar amount, you would strike the whole policy. We are leaving the policy and I just changed it to 0.
Okay.
Policy's there, but it's $6, so it can be changed later.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. All right, we're on to NOLA policy 1400, job descriptions. This is the adoption.
I'll make a motion to approve the adoption of the NEOLA policy 1400, job description as presented. Support.
Okay, we have motion by Mrs. O'Connor, supported by Mrs. Florka. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right. Item C is NOLA policy 0 through 170 adoption, except 130 and 140 previously adopted. Someone has to make a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the adoption of NEOLA policies 0000 through 0170 as presented.
Support.
We have a motion by Mrs. O'Connor, supported by Mrs. Florka. Discussion on this, I think that policy 167.3, the public participation, should be removed from the adoption this evening and postponed, as we've got an existing policy 8160 in place with a first reading under new business as well. So I don't believe we can have both existing at the same time. So I'd like to defer this to the policy committee to review 167.3 and make a recommendation whether we include parts of 8160 or do a total rewrite or
8160, what you said, 8106.
No, it's 60.
81.
It was 8160.
It should be.
Yes.
So I'd like to refer that to committee for review prior to adoption, 167.3. So I guess we would need an amended motion to pull that one out from the adoption.
And should the others be stated that they were already previously adopted, the 0130 and 0140? Should that be in there also?
Yeah.
Okay.
Should be.
Just double check.
So I'll make a motion to amend my motion.
Okay. Any further discussion? All right, so we have a motion by Mrs. O'Connor, supported by Mrs. Florka, to approve the adoption of policies 0 through 170, except 130 and 140, which was previously adopted, and accept policy 167.3. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. We're on to new business. So this is the policy 8160, rules for public participation. And this is the first reading of the amendment.
I'll make a motion for the first reading of Memphis policy 8160.
Just the one change.
Yeah, so the change here is that previously it said that it would be contacted by a member of the board. But we're adding in the administration as well, because in some instances it would be contacted by the administration. Any further discussion? We have a motion by Mr. Parry, supported by Mrs. McHugh, to approve the first reading of Memphis Policy 8106, rules for public participation as presented. 8160.
Sorry, between the lines.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item up under new business is the MEA calendar for 2019 and 20.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2019-2020 MEA calendar.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Parre, supported by Mr. Cook. Any discussion?
Folks, at the very start, we got June 15th and do the West 180 days, 185 teacher days. We did do some combining. This year we had, I think it was like 9 early release, and then we had another 8 or so half days. So we tried to combine some of those to kind of make it a little better situation, so I think it's a much better calendar. We did poll the teachers whether or not they wanted to begin before Labor Day at this time or not.
How soon do we usually publish this calendar for everyone else?
It's almost done, so.
Okay.
Or that's the 1 page that has just the dates.
The key dates, yeah. Yep. Any further discussion? Once again, we have motion by Mr. Parry, supported by Mr. Cook, to approve the 2019 MEA calendar as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item C is the MEA contract language approval.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2018-19 through 2019-20 MEA contract as presented.
Motion Motion by Ms. McHugh, supported by Ms. O'Connor, to approve the 1819 through 1920 union contract as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item D, Adam Walsh, Business Director, additional assignment.
I'll make a motion to approve the additional assignment of business director for Adam Walsh as presented. And when you say an additional assignment, you say the reference to his
Okay, we have motion by Ms. Ford, supported by Ms. O'Connor, to approve the additional assignment of Business Director for Adam Walsh as presented. Any discussion?
Just a question, I hope this is good, but as Mr. Walsh is a coach, he can still be a coach as an employee, right? There's no issue there.
No, the only one, we do have a policy that we look at, board members.
Board members, okay, good,
That was the one.
excellent.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item item E, Maria Kovac, parapro, request for leave of absence for 1920.
Make a motion to approve Maria Kovac's request for leave of absence for 2019-2020. Support.
Motion by Mr. Cook, supported by Mr. Parry. Any discussion?
This position, the parapros, by contract, we do not have that. We have teachers have the option to take a year leave. So obviously allowing this does open up the door and support either way. I think just so we are aware that this could open the door for others to do the same. So the issue with having a one-year leave is to hire somebody in, and that person that's on leave, if they do return after a year, we bump somebody out. We have that.
Wait, so, yeah, in the contract language for the teachers, if they give us the year, they can come back at the teaching position, maybe not the same.
Might not be teacher, you might not come as a secondary teacher, but you would come in and get a position.
And then for the parapro,
We do not have language in there, so, obviously we would default back to the language of the teachers and kind of do what we've done in common practice or past practice. They would fill a position. We can't create one for them, so it would be an elimination. So typically, it's seniority based on that. You could do evaluation based. But that is an issue that we have with it, so just so you're aware of that.
but it sounds like it would be good because we don't have any parameters.
We do not. So their contract does not provide for any long-term needs.
So, is that being stated?
When she applied for it, I let her know that this is not something I can guarantee. It's not in a
Okay.
contract. It's up to the board to make a decision whether to
And
accept it
it's
or not.
on her as an individual, it's not on the whole.
Right, so we're just approving that she takes the leave.
So with the leave, if we grant you 1 year leave, my understanding, because of what we do with the teachers, that you would be guaranteed a position back with us
So,
at the end of that year.
we're ready to make that decision.
Well, let me ask a different question, or another question. Would she be covered under FMLA if she applied under FMLA?
Unfortunately, she's not because of the number of hours she works.
She's
She's
not
a
full-time.
part-time and she's not year-round. So
I guess,
So that's the conversation I had with her too, because we did try to find some different opportunities or options for her.
if it's appropriate, Mr. Ryan, I would amend my motion to say we'd approve, I'd be comfortable approving a 1 year leave of absence in school year 1920 with the stipulation that if there's an open job when she returns, that she would be
First consideration.
She would be the first consideration for an open job.
I totally agree, and then that's where it's a tough decision
Right,
for
right.
all of us.
But it's really hard to make precedent right now. We haven't dealt into it. So if something changes and she fits in that criteria, great.
I think that's a great,
But moving
Great.
forward, then thank you, Marty, that's good.
All right, so the motion by Mr. Cook, and supported by Mr. Farag. To approve the leave Maureen Kovach, paraprofessional for the 1920 school year, if there's an open position when she returns. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Yes, that would be an amended motion. So I don't know if we really call it a leave or it's a leave. I don't know the correct terminology for it though. Right, we had an added item, we're now on to the added item F, the MEPC bylaws, closed meeting issue.
So this issue came up when the new MEPC bylaws came out, that there were going to be closed meetings of that group. And not to pick on the Parents Club, but I'm not sure Parents Club, I don't believe that any group within our school should be having closed meetings other than this body for the stated legal reasons that we have to have closed sessions for some things. I'm not comfortable with a group that controls any money having a closed meeting where decisions would be made about money or anything else for that matter. And really, I would like to have something, an agreement from this board that no organization, including the Memphis Elementary Parents Club, should be having closed meetings for any reason, because there aren't any clubs or groups within our school that employ anyone, fire anyone, hire anyone, or any of the things that would cause you to go into closed meeting legally.
Is that like clarification on the area of OMA scope where they have to post meetings at certain times and notification, or are we just going to say that the meeting has to?
you have the athletic boosters, band boosters, even with the project recreation, that somewhat fall under there.
Yeah, I would just suggest that none of those groups hold closed meetings. Now, I don't think this has ever come up before. I know I've been a part of several of those groups over the years. I just think any club, any organization that falls under the auspices of Memphis Community Schools should just hold open meetings.
All decisions need to be made in those open meetings.
I didn't say just need to hold meetings. All those meetings should go. So the music director can't have a closed meeting with the music directors. It's open.
But it doesn't.
But they aren't posting them, I mean,
I'm not suggesting they have to be
no, I'm
posted.
not either, but I'm saying where are we drawing the line of how we're going to try to govern or suggest it. I'm not in favor of closed, I do agree with that, but I think we gotta be careful if we're gonna start interfering with how other meetings are run and the way you stop what you do.
It's going to be tough to be the police. I'm trying to picture it.
And then what's the consequence? I mean,
When the Parents Club goes up to Z's, there's a discussion of the doghouse road.
and then when we hear that, then, I mean, the ones we hear that in closed meeting, I mean, what's our position, what's our reaction? I think it needs to be, I guess, investigated, evaluated a little more. I'm not, I mean, I am in agreement, but I'm not ready to, I just want to know the ramifications.
Right, because you could, I mean, the board or the club could decide that they're going to have a meeting 2 hours from now, and, you know, not everybody has a
And
chance.
someone takes it, and it just happened to me.
So, you know, you could consider it open. I think it's, I think we're going to have to put a lot of thought into how we would put that guideline in place. If we're going to go down that route.
Yeah, I mean,
It has to be all
let's make it a policy then, and let's investigate.
Right.
Did you send the new bylaws, or were those just passed on?
No,
Or
it was
if we
something.
send them.
Are you not?
And we
Do you
can
want to see
get
how this
Jesus
goes?
take it over too, right?
I can see the financial, you know, any of the decisions they need. I just see a ton of get-together opportunities where people actually building that camaraderie in the club, and it wouldn't be an open, I mean, definitely there's rules for the bookkeeping and decision-making there. I don't know how to do all of it.
Yeah, so
So
I
don't know
believe
if
we've
it's
had
other
one,
schools.
I believe we've had one opinion from an attorney saying that the clubs are not governed by the Open Meetings Act. However, considering that decisions to spend money could be made in a meeting, and when I say closed meeting, I'm not really speaking of a traditional closed meeting like we would have, where someone makes a motion for a closed meeting, we must all vote. The public is cleared out and allowed to come back for any decisions of that closed meeting. You're talking about a closed meeting in the definition of someone is excluded from the meeting. In other words, you are not welcome here.
So that brings to my other question. So how does that work for our committees on the board? And it would be something similar.
So our committees of the board do not have any authority to make a decision. They're only recommendation based, so we can meet as long as it's under 4. So as long as it's not a quorum, a committee can meet, a recommendation comes back to the board and that's voted on. The committee is not empowered to make any decision. So you don't have to have a vote.
Okay, and I don't, not gonna lie, I don't remember what the policy specifically, the wording in bylaws that questioning, or that were indicating closed meetings.
The MAPC was looking to go a bi-monthly meeting, I guess it would be, so the whole committee would meet every other month, and then the executive board would meet separately on those off months. It's a discussion. I don't know that they put in there to make decisions, but I know it's to meet, to kind of speed along the process to have conversations.
It actually says in the bylaws that voting on all decisions will be made by the executive board, and a majority must be obtained.
I think that's consistent with the way they've done it before, but the executive board always, has always done it at every meeting. I don't think that-
I'd be uncomfortable with someone making a decision in a meeting where anyone was excluded that spent money
I
that
agree.
falls under the auspices of the school system.
Yeah, I would think that along the similar lines of our committees, we can make a decision, we can have discussion, but I don't know how many people are involved. Is that?
Their executive board, is that, gosh, I don't know if
I
it's,
think the changes in the documents of the planning board, right?
yeah, president, vice president, treasurer. I think there's secretary and reserve trustee.
And they're elected as well, right? Are they elected by the parent club?
By the parents.
By the parents themselves?
There's a thing in the bylaws about, I think they're working with them. So, yeah.
So they're voting on nominations of the executive board members in here.
Can we put it on our committee policy grievance thing? I'm on it too.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best course of
Anyways,
action.
just, yeah.
But I completely agree with Mr. Cook saying, if anyways, any decision made financially, it comes back to be in front of the whole.
So that's your recommendation?
I would say to take it to policy.
Okay.
And our meeting on Monday, I don't know what's going on there, but we have to
Correct.
continue on that.
Yep.
We didn't make any motions on this yet.
No, that was just discussion.
Okay, good.
So it was only discussion, so I couldn't remember.
I guess I'd make a motion to send the question to the policy and grievance committee for their discussion and recommendation.
Support.
We have a motion, Mr. Cook, supported by Mrs. Florka, to bring to the board a policy for, a recommendation for a policy for clubs associated with the Memphis School District. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. We're at the superintendent comments.
Just a few things, some follow-up. I reached out to, I think, a few board members talking about evaluation training. I reached out to the St. Clair County RESA, that's who provided our training the original time for our tool. They have nothing scheduled, no other schools in the county are really looking for any training, so not planning. So the best course of action is either for us to invite MASB out to do a general training for all of us, or to try to find some dates for any new members, because we'll have 3 members that will need the training for that. So as directed, I can reach out to them. I've been in contact with them already. They don't have a lot of dates and they're not real convenient located or time or anything like that usually. So if we want to bring them out, we can. There is a cost to bring them out.
Do you know the cost?
I do not. It really depends on what training we're going to do with them. But
How inconvenient would it be?
Very,
We're all varying.
very. Well, they start with a 3 or 4 hour drive, they have a 8
Oh,
hour
sorry.
class, and they cancel it like the day before they signed up, so,
And I think they're weekdays, right?
yeah.
Yes, they are.
I thought you had said no light or something.
Well, they didn't, I responded back, because there were 2 people that signed up for that one I registered for, and I said, you know, how often, how long do you allow, and how often does this happen, because you're telling me the day before.
Could you reach out to the other school boards in the area, see if they have, because I think Marysville just had an opening
Okay.
appointment. Maybe we can share the cost, have them come out to our site.
I'm not sure Marysville does that in MASB, but I will.
Okay,
I've
maybe
definitely
check
been
around
on
Risa
there.
and see if there's anybody else who's in MASB.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a new one too.
Passing around the letter, and kind of an action item from last night for the tax change. We talked about a one-pager to try to help explain what the change is going to do. I sat down, I think it's very similar to the one I sent out before. I did add some estimated tax in there and showed them what it costs, talked about when the impact is. Look it over, nothing I've sent out yet, but I would like your input on it before I do. If there's any thoughts that you have to make it a little clearer for the community, I appreciate it. Like I said, we have a policy meeting Monday evening, and we also have our finance committee meeting Thursday morning. During the board roundtable 2 weeks ago, I guess it was, the concern of some policy violations came up. I did look into those concerns. I met with administration and talked with them and handled them. We are moving forward with it. We have a good plan of attack with it. But I do appreciate everybody bringing it to my attention and letting me know what's going on. So we should be all set with that. Hopefully have no more issues.
When was the policy meeting set for?
Monday evening, so we will work around the interviews. Right now we're set for 6:30. So we can probably keep that, depending on if there's any more to add to today. I've also been given an opportunity to do some consulting work, but in order for me to take anything on besides superintendency, I do need approval from the board. It's with Performance Service Industries, they're incorporated. They are the company that did our sinking fund work. So they reached out to me, looking for somebody to spend about 8 hours a week for the next 6 months, 7 months, and just consulting, meeting with local districts, talking to superintendents, and just trying to get them to meet with PSI. So I'm asking for your approval for me to take on that consulting. Do I have the time? Yeah, I think I do. It's a very open contract, can be ended by either party at any time. If there's any concerns when I got into it, let me know and I'd be in complete agreement to step away from it.
Would it be like evening hours? Or?
Yeah, mainly weekends, evenings. Would not be anything during school time. Would not be through any school resources, no email, no school phone or anything like that. Completely separate. Yep. Yep. It's a great opportunity for me. I think it's something that in 5, 6, 7 years, that if I can finally retire from education, it would be an opportunity that's there for me. So I would like to have that opportunity if everybody's agreed.
So would it be time limited then, like you said, the next 6 to 7 months, or would it be more limited?
It is. It ends, right now the contract they showed me ends December 1st. whether or not there'd be another one, we can totally up to both parties. They've been very open with me.
And obviously you're receiving compensation for it.
Yes, they actually reached out to the MASA, which is the Administrative Association of Michigan, to see what their thoughts were on it, and they were in agreement with it. So they did their homework, so I would.
And what's the organization again?
Performance Service Incorporated.
This would require amendment of your contract, right?
Not an amendment of it, just a motion, so my contract says with this, I need board approval to take anything outside of it. So it wouldn't amend my contract, it would just take a board motion for it to be allowable.
We still have outstanding funds with performance services?
We do not, no. They had their closeout meeting 2 weeks ago, they came in, met with us, made sure there was nothing else going on. Everything was taken care of.
I didn't know anyone had a conflict of interest.
No, and that's why I reached out to MASA to make sure, and that if there's language in there that says any conflict, I am a Memphis representative and not a Memphis schools. But anything like that, if it had anything to do with Memphis, I have no ties with them. That's that.
So you'd be primarily or only meeting with other districts as they try to?
So I reach out to some of the people I know, and superintendents in different districts, and if they're going out for a bond, I would talk with them, tell them the experience that I've had, and see if they're willing to meet with PSI.
PSI's main business is what?
So they are just getting into Michigan. They are a lot of the mechanical and engineering work that gets done. They do full service for everything. They would do a complete bond or a complete sinking fund if the district wanted. The reason that I went to them when we were going through our project is because it's one vendor, if you want to call it a vendor. They do everything from design to architecture, from planning, everything. Instead of going to an architect and then getting a contractor and then getting a GM, they were the one that had everybody within their umbrella.
So would it be correct to say they're somewhat a contracting company or construction company?
Yes, they would, yes.
Construction engineering.
Do they source the opportunities and then just ask you to come along, or they ask you to do it?
It's pretty much just me reaching out to contacts and see if anybody's got anything going on, and then I would ask them to invite PSI along.
But then again, so on the weekend, just for instance, you're going to reach out to the Yale superintendent and not including them in the school.
Absolutely. And like I said, if there's any concern that you had when, if you allow me to do this, that I'm not available, then we would put an end to it.
Do you have a timeline for the response by?
No, there wasn't a timeline. The contract that they wrote up had it beginning May 1st. I told them that was a short notice, but I said that I did have a board meeting tonight, so it would be an opportunity that we could start May 1st. It could be amended if it needs to be, but
I think I'd like some more time to think on this. Make a decision tonight.
I want to bring it back on the 15th.
Yeah.
6th.
No, not the 6th.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, we have.
Six or seven.
Maybe the 7th.
6 or
6 or
7.
7. No, I wasn't trying to. Martin said it's only
Oh, I see. Yeah, if it's on the 6th.
20th. The 20th is our next regular meeting.
It's definitely not the usual request, Brad.
Well, and I guess I would compare it to, a lot of superintendents teach classes. So they do that outside of the realm. Mr. Greenhead, East China did it for 10, 15 years. He was one of my professors. So we do have quite a few that do other things. The consulting ones is usually something that take on later on. Again, it's just a great opportunity for me.
And it is, but with reference to the classes, then there's a syllabus and a whole, and there's definition of it. And this is, we don't have a way of knowing the emotion unless it does interfere with something or there's some conflict. So, that's fair to say, but I think the instruction is a little bit different than what's being asked here. Initially, time commitment and all, I don't think it's a problem. I'm just we'd like a little more time to do that.
Could you bring to us a proposal for an agreement?
Do you want to see the contract that was like?
No, as far as, you had said that if we felt that was interfering with your superintendent role, that we ask you to terminate the contract.
Sure.
Some wording around that way. That way you can bring it to the board on the 20th, and we'll have something that we can vote on at that point. Some clear language. Anybody else have any requests around that we'd like to see on the 20th, so we got clear action?
You need to outline for us, just bring in, like, how much have we spent on performance services?
1.2 million. I do not have anything else for you.
Board roundtable.
Don't forget to send in your board scholarship courses.
Yeah, so,
I don't think you want them all yet.
no, I know I haven't sent mine in yet. She had asked by this Friday, May 3rd, for us to come to a consensus, so it sounds like we're kind of all sending in our 1 and 2 into
And
her.
she's kind of, and she's putting it together and letting us know. There's that story.
I do have something though, in reference to superintendent comments. And I just drafted it up so I stay on track. Mr. Goodby, I do recognize that as a board, we only have oversight over you, leaving you with the responsibility to adequately address concerns with administration. With that in mind, I do expect that you did address our concerns about policy violation and took the appropriate disciplinary action necessary. It is my opinion that we cannot tolerate violation of our policies. It is also my opinion that ignorance is not an excuse. These policies are in place to be adhered to by all of us at all times. And before any of us takes action in the future, especially when it may be self-serving, we need to refer to our policies.
We went to some more MASB training this weekend, so I'll share some of that with you guys. It was effective board meetings. So I went to Grand Rapids on Saturday morning and sat through we had a 3-hour class, and it was, I keep stressing you guys, these classes are very well spent time. The lady that taught the class, she's a school board member in a very large school district. She's a township trustee, and now she's a appointed official. And we talked about, what makes up a good board meeting. A lot of discussion around, how different all the school boards handle, even public participation and communications with the superintendent. Some guidelines that, the boards put in place. A lot of good information that I look forward to sharing with the board in the future here. And this would be a really good one, I think, for them to come out and teach to us, because the more orderly we are in how we conduct business, it just reflects on the school district.
Because we can tie two together, so you can, depending on who come up with the MSAB detailed training, you can tie them together, maybe for a little longer pay, but.
Right, and this Miss Macon that taught the class, she actually teaches a couple of different ones. She also teaches parliamentary procedure, which unfortunately they didn't have enough interested in that, so that was canceled. But I think that'd be very useful for us to understand how to make motions, what motions can be made, and what the proper procedure is for that. So I think we should look at a date in the future to consider that class. That was a really good one. Touched on There was one other request from Mr. Goodney that I think we needed action on. And that is, I think, what the policy committee is meeting on is procedures for communication with the Board of Education and the superintendent, how that can take place. And that was actually one of the items that was discussed in this board meeting. Say a board member has a question to the superintendent. You know, does the superintendent just respond with an answer to that board member or respond to all the board? And the comment she made was that she follows the tell one, tell all. So we're all informed on the decision. Now, what you have to be careful about is we can't get in discussion amongst ourselves via, you know, if the superintendent answers via email. We can't start debating and deliberating amongst email. It's basically a one-directional communication from the superintendent to the board, because obviously if one person has a question, it could be from another as well, so you might as well just inform the whole board. So that's something to think about as you're drafting out that procedure. And then, the finance committee is meeting early Thursday morning to talk about the transportation plan and the 1920 budget, and we'll bring a recommendation to the board. Another thing we need to make sure we capture on the May 20th agenda, I think, is the resolution on the RESA budget. Anything else? Does anybody else have anything else from on the table?
I'll tell the community is your team did well in the bridge competition, so.
That's usually for elementary levels.
Oh, yes. Yeah, the decoders.
We'll probably invite that in next week.
I was talking about your MDOT kids too, but that's it.
Yeah, no, that just made me think that, yes.
No, they competed, there was roughly 750 kids, and one team took second for the presentation, and middle of the pack for the load, so each year they'll get better. So if people are interested in STEM, highly recommend it. It was good. Mrs. Skujak came back to help coach the team, one of our new teachers, so I think next year we could get 2, 3, 4 teams going.
Is it possible for them to bring the bridges in and stuff? I mean, are they still, do they?
Yeah, there's probably broken balsa, whatever you're at the school. No, it's
Because they have brought them in the past.
yeah, they brought the past one, but they should bring it in today.
Yeah, that'd be great to see.
And I tell you, the MDOT came out, and there were great scholarships for kids getting out, getting into internship scholarships for civil engineering, so.
Yes. Great.
Anything else? Right, is there any need for closed session?
Was I to my email for this session?
I'll make a motion about the closed session at 8:15.
We have a motion by Mr. Parry, supported by Mrs. O'Connor, to go into closed session in accordance with Open Meetings Act 267 for the purpose of superintendent evaluation at our quarterly meeting. This is not the final evaluation, but our quarterly meeting with the superintendent.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Parry? Mrs. McHugh?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Mrs. Gorka? Yes. And Mrs. McDonald? Yes.
Thank you all for coming.